being a special agent with the Department of Revenue, I can tell you that our county is losing a lot of money that the way people look at it would not cost the taxpayers of this county anything. The county commission has to get businesses into the county, which ups your tax base. That right there can help a lot. There's also grants available that will help fund additional positions, training, things of that nature. And you were talking about under contract for 3 years. My original thought was 5. You know, might have to lower that, but yes, I want them to stay here because if we're paying for their training, they're going to have to stay here for a few years. We got to get some kind of benefit out of it rather than somebody coming in and the sheriff's department paying for their training, and then as soon as they get a little bit of experience on the road, they take off to another county, which is a couple of the surrounding counties or 3 counties that pay more. Our citizens deserve the best that we can get.
No question. My name is Rick Hutchins. I have a question that's kind of for everybody on the thing. You know, with everything happening in this world right now, it's very troubling. Everything that's going on with our school systems and everything. I'm wondering how you feel about teachers conceal carry in a school system. A lot of times it's seconds that matter sometimes. And I don't mean carrying a pistol or a purse. I had to delay a flight out of Chicago, and my co-pilot one time was running all over the place trying to find his purse. He left on the crew bus because they make airline pilots carry their pistol from spot to spot in a purse rather than on person. So I'm talking about how do you feel about certain teachers that are trained to do on-person carry in our school system?
My personal view on that, and it doesn't just apply to teachers, everybody in this country that's legal to carry a gun should carry one, in my opinion. As far as teachers go, I'm all for that. I'm all for every teacher in every school carrying a gun. But they need the training. They need just basic training. To ensure some safety there. I think the other candidates will agree on active shooter, the training that we get and everything. The active shooter typically will commit suicide within the first minute after contact with law enforcement. Okay? In a large county like this and limited deputies, it may take several minutes for law enforcement to show up at a school. That several minutes is costing lives of kids that are in the schools. If we have teachers that are armed and prepared to do what's necessary, and you have a child walk into that school with a gun with the intent on killing 1, 2, or all of them, that threat can be taken out almost immediately. So, I'm all for it.
Is there a third question?
Yes, sir.
Past 6 years, I've had a couple opportunities where I had to call the sheriff's department. And those cases, they always tell me, well, did you videotape the altercation? Well, I don't normally carry a video camera with me. Last June, a young man, who I think was high on drugs at the time, attacked me with a 4-way love bridge because I walked with a cane. And the deputy told me, did you videotape? Now, how are we going to get any help from the sheriff's department unless we carry a video camera with us?
Well, if someone's attacking you, it's kind of ridiculous to think that you would be videotaping this guy attacking you.
Right.
You should be defending yourself.
Right. Well, we had a stare down and I won. But nonetheless, it could have killed me.
Well, video is not necessary on everything.
Is that going to continue to be a policy, is my point.
To require people to have video before they'll do anything? No, sir. you can investigate things, you can talk to witnesses, you can talk to everybody, and someone with the investigative skills, the interviewing and interrogation skills, can usually spot the deception on whoever they're talking to. So, yeah, as far as having video every crime before anything's done, no, sir, that's not a policy, or it won't be a policy of mine.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yes.
Bob, I need to interject real quick now. That couple of times that you called police officers down there, did that negate out the number of times that they were calling you?
No, for a lunatic, I'm pretty quiet.
Number 2.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you all for coming. My name is Jonathan Aydelott. I work for the Hickman County Sheriff's Office now. I began my law enforcement career here in Hickman County in 2004, where I worked for the Sheriff's Office from 2004 to 2015. I left and went to work for the Drug Task Force, still here in Hickman County, the 21st Judicial District. We served Hickman County, Lewis County, Williamson County, and Perry County. I was assigned to the Drug Task Force in 2011 to work undercover narcotics, and then moved over to the Criminal Interdiction Unit, where I was one of the guys you would see on the interstate. If you drove down the interstate, I was one of the guys that kind of looked for drug cartels, money smugglers, drug smugglers, all of that good stuff. I am seeking your support this year for the election of Hickman County Sheriff for 2022. A little bit about me. I'm married. My wife, Misty, we have 3 children together, ages 20, 17, and 14. I come from a narcotics background. It was one thing that drove me, and I love working narcotics. I was a canine handler for 10 years, or a little over actually. I brought my dog back with me to the sheriff's office here when I came back to the sheriff's office. We worked a lot of undercover narcotics operations. We worked a lot of narcotics in Hickman County. Believe it or not, we took off 754 pounds of marijuana that drove right down through here. Hickman County is not the only county with a drug problem. It's everywhere in the United States. The drug industry is a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. And I'm standing here telling you right now, you are never going to stop it. But we can combat it and make it a little harder. I have started the federal prosecution cases here in Hickman County. Myself and one other officer are the only 2 officers, to my knowledge, in the history of Hickman County Sheriff's Office to federally indict people, because I'm tired of the revolving door that goes around here. It's the same ones. If they meet the criteria, I'm sending you to federal prison. If the DAs will prosecute it there, we're going to go with it. We have been successful thus far, and we have a line of more that are going as we speak. We sent one off just a few weeks ago. When you go to court on the federal level, you do not get bond. That is another advantage. You go to the federal level, you either get released and wait on your trial, or you go to jail or go to prison right then, and you wait on trial. When you're sentenced, you receive 100% of your sentence. There is no good behavior. There is no 2-for-1s. Now, with that being said, everybody does not meet the criteria for jail. If you need rehab, I'm willing to give you rehab. It has worked so far. I have been able to, if you give me an hour of your time and tell me you need to go to rehab, give me an hour of your time. I will have you in rehab, and I will personally drive you there. I've done it several times already for private citizens in this county. I don't care if you have insurance or not. Through my years of service here, I have made contacts with people that are willing to work with us, and we will help you if you need help. However, if you get rehab and you've got charges pending, you go to rehab through a court order, I'll give you 2 opportunities on that, and then I'm going to go to the judge and ask the judge not to give you rehab. I'm going to ask the judge to put you in jail. Now, if you need rehab, I'll give you rehab in jail. How bad do you want it? You can serve your time in jail, and you can get rehab in jail. We used to do that years ago. Mr. Neil Job, many of you in this room know Mr. Neil Job. He would come to our facility and do that. He was fantastic at it. We can find somebody else to do it. I've already made plans and preparations with the gentleman, as Mr. Cayce was saying, who is unopposed. His name is Hans Swindleman. He will be the district attorney for the 32nd Judicial District. That takes place at the same time election does. So we're gonna start all over with a whole new judicial system. Right now, we have 7 assistant district attorneys that work Hickman, Lewis, and Williamson, Perry counties. We're gonna go to 3. That's gonna be a major strain on our court system. So I'm not waiting till then. I'm making preparations now and talking to him and trying to get these things done. Have you looked at our roads? How nasty they are? We have to have a county-wide litter cleanup day. I proposed to him as part of their probation, if they want to keep releasing people on probation, we're going to give them some community service, and I'll volunteer my services as the sheriff. I work for you. We will go out on Saturday and gather everybody up that has community service, and they're going to be a benefit to this county, at least for that time. They're going to clean our roads and give back to us. We've taken care of them, now they can help us and be a benefit. Sorry, I was just getting started.
Mr. Paul, your hand was up first.
Restate your last name, I didn't hear it.
Aydelott, all you got to do is look at me and say, good grief, that boy ate a lot. And you got it. I've been called worse, trust me.
That doesn't count as a question.
That does not.
Any other questions?
You had one you said that was for all the counties. And could you repeat it, please, sir?
Since I've known Sheriff Ward since 2004, we have constantly watched him go up before the commission and just get slapped around like a dog. We need money, we need deputies, and we need deputies. Or how are you gonna work with the commissioners down there to get us more money, more deputies? And can we put them under contract so that we're not a training company?
Hickman County Sheriff's Office has been a training facility for years. We currently do have a contract that new employees have to sign. It's a 3-year contract. It has gone through the county attorney. However, that is fixing to change as well. That's Miss Melanie Toddy Cagle right now. That is fixing to change. We'll have to go to another county attorney, but we will have a contract. To answer that question, there is a national standard across the United States of America. It's by the National Policing Institute, and you can look it up. For every 1,000 citizens, there is an average of 1.8 officers to 2.6, depending on the area you live. If you run that right now, we currently have 13 road officers. That's supervisors included. I'm the day shift patrol supervisor. I do real good to have 3 officers in the entire county patrolling. And then you take away from that, a funeral, a mental transport, somebody's sick, somebody has a death in the family, we lose a lot more. From that 1.8 to that 2.6, right now we're running about a half an officer for those 1,000 citizens in this county. And that's based on 22,000, that takes the population of the city completely out. So I'm gonna provide those stats, and we're gonna go from there and start with that. I'm gonna lay the proof out in front of them that we have to have it. If we double our manpower right now, we would make the absolute bare minimum per capita. So we have got to get our manpower up, and we have to pay them more to retain them because they can drive 30 minutes and be in the next county over and make $5 more an hour. We have to take care of them first. That's the first thing we have to do. Yes, sir.
Given our county commission the way it is, or is it, would you sue for more officers?
That would be a last resort, but absolutely I would. We have to do what's right for the citizens and businesses of this county. Folks, that's the only thing we've got to provide you with is service. And if we can't get it, we're going to find another way to get it. Now, I'm sorry it may cost your tax dollars to go up just a little bit, but it's going to be well worth it in the long run. So we have to take care of you. Yes, sir.
Problem that's works in some counties is
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
some counties have auxiliary officers, and I've heard that this has been done away with in Hickman County.
It was. We had a reserve program. The problem with that is we didn't have anybody to actually take over the reserve program and be responsible enough. We had several that were interested in it, but all they wanted to do was come ride around in the patrol car for the 8 hours so they could get their hours in for the month. If we can find somebody that's willing to overtake that and oversee it and do it properly, absolutely I would take advantage of that because they can help us in these mental transports, they can go sit with an inmate at the hospital. We may need them to pull a funeral, so we've got officers on the road covering the county. Absolutely, I would take part in that.
Thank you very much, sir.
I've got to go. We're burying one of our officers today, Officer Cody Knight. I'd love to stay and talk to you, but I can't. I gotta go take care of him. I will leave the flyers, my phone number's on it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate.
What's your next event?
Right now, it's up in the air. I'm trying to reach out to O.H. Bernard to host an event there, but I've yet to hear back. We want to go back up to the east end of the community and meet with everybody we can.
We realize that you have to leave, that's why we ask that question, so that people know that you won't be here after the fact here, but
I will
see you
not.
someplace else. So we'll keep everybody posted on where those events are going to be. I'm sure we'll know.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate the first two speakers coming back to being phone calls. We've got the mayors in here next month, and there'll be a brawl in here. Number 3.
You wanna go sit by Aunt Jared?
Good job, sir.
This way.
Good morning, my name is David Howell, I'm running for sheriff. Piggybacking off of what Jonathan just said, Deputy Cody Knight, his funeral is today at 3 o'clock. He was a 21-year veteran, and he'd love to see as many of you show up as would like to go there. So I wanted to start with that. But anyways, like I said, my name's David Howell, I'm running for sheriff. I've lived in Hickman County my entire life. I grew up here, out in Nunnally, between Nunnally and Buckstorm. Some of y'all might know where that is. And I've got 3 children, all the way from 20 years old down to 11. And all of the future of them is, really what I like to push for, because having children that young, you worry about where they're going to wind up in life. The drug issue, the drug issue is important to everybody. A lot of the stuff that is important to everybody for the drug issue is also those things that come along with it, such as thefts, assaults, all of that type of stuff. I've had my home burglarized. I've had a car burglarized, and one of the problems I see with a lot of it, we're spending a lot of time focusing on the drugs and such, but we're not focusing as much on the burglaries and the assaults and such that are all tied to all the same people most of the time. I would like for the sheriff's department to actually focus on some of those issues, such as burglaries, because I just as soon take somebody in for robbing stuff out of your house as I would for having possessing methamphetamine or something. That all gets them up and out of the streets and gets them the help they need in jail. I'm more of a smaller government type guy. I don't believe that the sheriff's department should be, providing outside of the jail rehabs and such. I think that is the job of lots of different nonprofits. There's a lot of nonprofits that specialize in that type of stuff. And so they're going to handle it a lot better than the sheriff's department. And we got to make sure that we pull all that back and stop doing some of the stuff that we shouldn't be doing and focus on the things that we should be doing. Like I said, such as burglaries, assaults, the drug problem, all of that should be equal. A burglary should be just as important to the detectives as somebody selling drugs. It all needs to be taken care of. I'm also, one of the things that concerns me a lot is the Tennessee State Legislature just passed stuff that makes short barrel rifles and shotguns legal as long as Governor Lee signs it. The Tennessee Sheriff's Association, the TBI and such, they all spoke against these laws. They want to actually they usually fall on the wrong side, I feel like, on your rights, because they usually speak out against the expanding rights that we need for the citizens of the state. The easier it is that you make it for law-abiding citizens to carry their firearms and such, the better they're going to be able to protect themselves. So that's part of what I stand for, is making sure that your voices are heard through the lobby of the Sheriff's Association and all of that, and not just them going and saying, you know, we don't agree with this. You know, it all works together, it all ties together, because you have to have the freedom that you need to protect yourself, because like they said, you know, it's gonna take quite a while for any of the deputies to show up. If you've got the proper tools to defend yourselves, then that's gonna help you when they're 20 minutes away. You know, we don't need government to stepping in and taking those rights from us and keeping us from being able to defend ourselves and such. As for the drug issue and such on that, or we was talking a moment ago about the auxiliary. I started out in Fairview as an auxiliary officer, so I understand the auxiliary program. You know, it means a lot. A good auxiliary program does a really good job of supplementing the officers that are on the road day in and day out.
Questions? Your question was for all four candidates, so we'll allow it to stand. You addressed it before, working with the commission for money and being able to have a contract with officers to keep them here for a period of time.
Yeah, like Deputy Aydelott said, the officers get contracts right now. They don't really hold up that well. One of the things that I see us needing to do is we need to be more attractive to veteran officers, make it a place where veteran officers that are already certified want to come work. Because it takes a lot less money to train them. By the time you put somebody through the police academy and get them all their training, you know, it's almost a year down the drain right there before they ever get to go out and work on their own. But if you attract more veteran officers, that gets them on the road soon, they're ready to go. Now, working with with all of the other elected officials to get the money, that can, you know, that can be a pain. I do all I can, but the biggest voice in that matter is going to be you guys electing the correct commissioners that will help us get there.
Any other questions?
Well, I'll ask that question I asked earlier. How do you feel about one person concealed carry for teachers in the schools? I mean, I'm talking elementary school, middle school, high school.
Me, you know, this ties in with, like I said, the rights of the people to take care of themselves. I am all for that. Number one, you know, if they're going to pass a background check to a teacher, they should be able to pass a background check to be able to carry the firearm in schools. All right? They do, having said that, they do need training, and part of that training can fall on the school resource officers and training department for the Hickman County Sheriff to make sure during the summer times, during winter breaks and all of that type of stuff, that they receive the training that they're going to need, because they're not going to need just the training on what to do and how to do it. They're going to need training on communication, to communicate with the SROs and such. And the SROs are, and the teachers that you know, it's going to be a choice. If they don't want to carry a firearm, then they won't have to. They're not going to be forced to. But they need to work together on training. Like I said, for the summertime, Christmas break and all that, they can train together and know exactly what to do, how to do it, so that they're best prepared to protect our most valuable asset in the county.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I want to thank everybody for having us out. Really appreciate it, American League, for reaching out to us and having us come out. I go tell you, I'm not a military guy, but I was the military spouse. And my wife served 8 years with the Army National Guard unit here in Centerville, which time I was part of the family readiness group. Spent a little time as the treasurer for that organization when we were over there. So I have a deep place in my heart for all our veterans, and thank y'all for everything y'all done for us in our country.
What's your name?
Jason Kraft. Sorry, thought we get back to that earlier. I apologize. My name is Jason Kraft, born and raised here in Hickman County. As my dad always said, we were from downtown Lyles, if you know where that's at. That's where we're from. Like I said, I started my law enforcement career here in Centerville with the Centerville Police Department. I worked from there from 2001 to 2006. I left then and went to Williamson County, where I've been at ever since and where I'm at today. I started in Williamson as patrol deputy. It was actually probably 2008. Maybe some people in here where Centerville got the call that they were probably going to get deployed again. My wife contacted me and said, "Hey, we got a problem. We got kids work the second shift, and I'm fixing to go away for a year." So it actually was a blessing in disguise, but wound up taking a job as a staff sergeant inside the jail. I didn't know anything about a jail, never worked in one, and I took a job inside the jail. It was a day shift job, and I was an investigator. I was doing criminal investigations, internal affairs, background investigations, recruitment for new employees. So we got a lot of experience with the jail and jail operations from that. Of course, after we got over, her job actually got cut from the list, and she was not employed, but everybody else was. But it was a good learning experience for us. I've done that for about 5 years, and then I went back to patrol. Moved up to patrol supervisor. I've held the rank right now in Williams County for deputy, corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant, and right now my current position is I'm captain over the Special Operations Division. My job and titles right now is I supervise SWAT, aviation. I'm one of the helicopter pilots. Probably a few people in here are familiar with the OH-58s and the Hueys. I fly those. Swiftwater Rescue, fleet management. We have about 380 vehicles that we take care of. About 700 radios. It's a little bit bigger department than what we have down here, but a lot of what I do now is administration. I do budgeting, dealing with vendors and county commissions and everything else. It's a lot of what I do now is on the admin portion. Like I said, I work criminal warrants. Pretty much every division in the sheriff's department I have held except for in the SRO division. I went back to school in 2000, started in 2010, and got my bachelor's degree from Bethel University, so I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Like I said, I'm a lifelong resident of Hickman County. My parents was Kenneth and Betty Kraft. I have an older brother, Steve. My sister-in-law sitting back here with us. And listen, my wife and 3 beautiful kids. We spent a lot of time, since my kids were 3 and 4 years old, we do football, baseball, cheerleading, anything you think of. We're usually at a ball field somewhere. So I've spent a little time doing some coaching with football, and we spent a lot of time with all the ball fields. I've been very blessed in my law enforcement career for over 20 years. I've been very fortunate. I look at if there's something that I may have learned in a little bit bigger departments, maybe some other training that I've got that I can bring back here to make our community better, then that's what we want to do. Like I said, we have some fantastic people that are running for sheriff. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and badmouth anybody, and I don't do that. I told everybody here at the function we had not long ago, I said, I'm applying for a job, just like everybody else. And you are my employee, we're my employers. That's what I said.
All right. Questions? We go ahead, sir, if you got your standard questions that you have for every single one.
I just wonder about working with the commissioners and trying to get more money.
Well, I think you have
Keep
to.
them under contract loans.
I think having a good working relationship, you have to have with your commissioners. I mean, and a lot of times you explain to them what you need, you lay it out for them, say, hey, this is the problem, this is what we gotta have. Have a plan in place when you go and address them. I think a lot of times they understand a lot better. I see the contracts, and we're gonna put you under a 2-year contract if we hire you, and I've seen judges throw it out. I mean, you can say it's a contract, and yeah, you're gonna have to pay us all this money back, but reality and a lot of stuff we've seen is it doesn't happen. When it goes to court, most times, well, I had to leave because of medical reasons, or I had to leave because of family hardship. And there's just, a lot of times, they're not gonna make you pay that money back. Like I said, I've seen it, unfortunately, the Hickman County is like every other county, and any other law enforcement department in Tennessee, or in the country, is nobody wants to be police anymore. I mean, pretty much where it's at. You know, we're, Hickman County, yes, there's money issues and stuff here, but there's probably a lot of people in here that probably had a boss that you would work for a little bit less money because you liked who you worked for. He led from the top, he was good, he was a good guy. You know, I would make a little bit less money if I was working for him. And I think a lot of it is, you know, I never ask any of my guys to do anything that I would not do myself. And let's lead from the top and always take care of your people. I think that's a big part of getting your people to stay. If that answers your question, well, yes.
Rick, can I see your hand up back there?
Yes, sir. If I had a nickel for every time, as an officer, I heard a parent say to a child, you behave, or he's gonna take you to jail, this automatically sets up a negative attitude to the child and the police officer. Not me, but the badge. Do you think there is an opportunity for the sheriff's department to play a greater role in educating children in the schools about being a police officer and what it means to be a police officer? The SROs are doing a great job, but there's only one guy. So do you see an opportunity here to be proactive with our young so they don't grow up with that negative attitude?
Yes, sir. And actually, that's a great question, and I think there's a lot more that we can be done. Now, probably a lot of people in here, when I was in school, we had DARE, Harold Show. Loved Harold Show. That was the coolest thing ever. When Harold came in and taught DARE, I said 5th grade, he came in, you know, DARE kind of went a little bit crazy, and it's tobacco-based kind of thing, but there's other programs and other things we can do. I think we're doing a very disservice to our kids that we're not doing more for them. Now, one thing we've done at my current employer is we have the Explorer program. So you have kids that are interested in being law enforcement, they can join the Explorer program, and we show them what we do. And we kind of get our community more involved with the Citizens Academy. We do a Citizens Academy. We do 3 a year. You can sign up to take it, and we go through every portion of what they do. We'll have you out doing vehicle stops. We'll have you out the process of a crime scene. We'll put up a fake crime scene. You go in and we'll show you how to process it, what we do for that. So there's a lot more stuff we can do with our community and our kids, especially that I just feel we're not doing. Like one that being vaping. Vaping is terrible right now, unless you have so many kids are involved in that. And do we have actual classes where we're going in and teaching the kids the dangers in the drugs, alcohol, and tobacco? And we're not doing that anymore. We have to increase what we're doing.
Any other questions?
Just to follow up, do you see a program within the sheriff's department to establish an educational idea with young people in the community? In other words, a squad.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, absolutely. I don't see that can be a problem. Like I said, I think I think it's what we need to be doing, because I think we need to have our officers more involved with our kids, going out, like I said. We're not doing that now, unless we need to be teaching more classes and get out to, if the kids don't trust us, who are they gonna trust? We've gotta get the trust of our kids in our community. And listen, we have to really work on that. Mhm.
I thank each and every one of the candidates who came before us today. I just have a special place in my heart for people that want to step up and volunteer to take on those jobs in the county that are hard, thankless jobs. I don't care what direction you want to take it. Sheriff's job is not always a pleasant job out there. So I really appreciate anybody that's willing to step forward and do that.